Poised to compete in a segment of cars that tries to blur the lines between the crossovers and hatchbacks. Intricately styled and courageously dimensioned, Ioniq 5 manages to offer state-of-the-art technology, an opulent cabin full of gimmicks and surges of power. The Hyundai Ioniq 5 is an electric crossover with advanced technology that could rival today's most advanced electric cars. So let's look at 7 things you need to know before buying the 2024 Hyundai Ioniq 5. When we first saw the Ioniq 5, it stopped our world for a second. It is a well-designed electric vehicle that we instantly forgave all the design mishits Korean company graced us with throughout its rich history. While the adage that form follows function works rather well here, the thing is that with slender front lights squinting in between the bonnet and front bumper, the Ioniq 5 features an unforgettable face, especially with its LED lights turned on. We would say that these functionally elaborate lighting components made the Ioniq 5 look sharp and purposeful. The rear end, with the extreme example of the Pixel, lights proudly displaying all the needed information on the pixelated strip, only solidifies the sheer insanity of the Hyundai Ioniq 5 designers. In their unmistakable creativity, they connected 2 worlds: the pixelated digital design reminiscent of the culture of the early digital era with the apparent modern touches. Touches like these made this EV genuinely unforgettable, something we did not expect from a company that, until recently, produced so many bland cars. Based on the Hyundai Electric Global Modular Platform, the Ioniq 5 offers the technology, not even its rivals, while the design elicits the proper 70s feel. Digging deep under these metal sheets will reveal a 72.6 kilowatt-hour battery produced by SK Innovation. With 800-volt technology, the Ioniq 5 takes another step toward the future. Energy stored in the batteries of this EV provides up to 300 miles of range. Furthermore, 2 electric motors, one on the front and one on the back, gave the Ioniq 5 a somewhat flamboyant character. This is a heavy car, no doubt, but when in the sport mode, with all the 306 horsepower on tap, it surges to 60 miles per hour with such ferocity that even some sports-named cars couldn't compete. As much as we hate to admit it, we have felt better in this Hyundai than in some high-end premium cars. Yes, electric vehicles are sophisticated, if not even majestic with their interior layout, but the Ioniq 5 took all of that to another level. Massive space inside does hide numerous intricate details quite well. There is a lot of room for head and rear passengers. The rear seats can adjust longitudinally, and even in the frontmost position, there is enough space for the knees for an average-sized human. This EV has 20.23 cubic feet of capacity in its boot, and an additional 84 cubic feet of boot space in the frunk, so this car is seriously comfortable. With 2 electric motors, an all-wheel drive, and a tad more than 72 kilowatt-hours of battery capacity, we had a playful car in our hands. The power sent to all 4 wheels was enough for a surge to 60 miles per hour in about 5 seconds, a feat that feels more interesting in an electric car than in a vehicle with an internal combustion engine vehicle. Nevertheless, when in sport mode, Ioniq 5 offers a sharper steering response and a furious reaction when we press the acceleration pedal. It feels instant and silent. That is the most important thing. No one expects that kind of power, but it just happens. Remember that this is not a fast sports car, but an exciting crossover. We found it especially engaging when looking for Toyotas, Hondas, and Volkswagens to contest. It will smoke most of them. We had the luck to drive the Ioniq 5 and had the most potent electric setup on board. One motor delivering 211 horsepower sits at the back, and the other, with 95 horsepower, powers the front wheels. That was enough for 306 horsepower and 446 pound-feet of torque. Because the battery pack sits low, thus lowering the center of gravity, we had quite an excellent time moving it through the bends. This is not a sports car, but we found it quite confusing when we managed to drive it on a winding road as fast as some smaller cars. The sheer dedication of Hyundai engineers to make the car as fun as possible was evident with every mile we covered, especially with the activated sport mode. The chassis does not flex, and we couldn't feel all the weight we hauled around. When we reached grip limits, the Ioniq 5 quite violently revealed its true nature and showed it would bite. In one of the sharpest bends, where we did drive a bit faster than we should, Ioniq 5 started to slide. It was not an oversteer or an understeer, as all four wheels lost grip at the same time. This was a wake-up call, as nothing we did to tame it would work. Luckily, the car stopped sliding just before the curb. Given the state of the automotive industry, safety is one of the most critical domains of improvement in recent years. The Ioniq 5 showcased just that, quite remarkably. First and foremost, we were amazed by all the active safety tech. When we wanted to merge into a lane next to the one we were driving on, we hit the lever behind the wheel. That triggered the system to activate the turn signal and showcase the camera feed from the rearview mirror on display. It was enough to display all the needed information and allow us to confidently merge to the line next to mine. This got us thinking about removing the side view mirrors completely. We are not the first to have this eureka moment, as many tried to implement cameras instead of rearview mirrors, but the regulations still do not allow it. Besides improving safety, the car would have enhanced aerodynamic efficiency. Ioniq 5, for example, would have 3 to 7% better aerodynamic efficiency without large rearview mirrors. Nevertheless, this feature did help us to get a grasp on the complexities of the safety tech included with this EV architecture. Apart from this, the safety tech that helped us most includes smart cruise control, lane keep assist, line following assist, and manual speed limit assist. All of it makes driving relatively easy and stressless, something anyone could appreciate. With 800-volt architecture, having 800-volt electric tech on board made the Hyundai Ioniq 5 quite advanced. We had the opportunity to try it out on a 50 kilowatt-hour charger. This EV battery surged from 20% to 90% in about 1 hour. If you can access a 350 kilowatt DC charger, recharging it from 10% to 80% only takes 18 minutes. Now this is something you should appreciate the most. On the other hand, you can deplete the battery in a few hundred miles. The most we could achieve on one charge was 205 miles. We could do 20 to 30 miles more with a lighter right foot. Still, nowhere near 298 miles Hyundai promised, but the conditions were less than ideal.